Jean Anderson Pierre, the Beer and TV Ramble, looks at Yuengling Black and Tan. 60% their dark porter, 40% of their premium beer. That's what makes the Black and Tan by Yuengling. America's oldest brewery, family owned and operated, still going strong after all these many years. Um, it gets a 72 score on Beer Advocate, but the bros don't particularly care much for it. I think it's 67 with them. This beer was released in 1986. Um, the premium beer, as I mentioned, 40% of the premium beer, 60% of their dark brown porter. Um, Yingling, of course, as we all know, famous for the traditional lager. Like I said, one of the oldest breweries, still going strong here in the United States. Doesn't really. A lot of people have issues with Yingling because of all their ownership situations and how they kept everything, the way they run their business, which I don't think it's anything wrong. I think I kind of like the way they do their things there. Um, I guess because of the area, it's very pro-union where their brewery is in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Um, they decided to decertify the union. Of course, they've become a very, I think Pennsylvania, if it hasn't already, become the right to work state. But those are the reasons why people have issues with Yingling. Other than that, majority everybody raves about Yingling. A very good beer. Of course, a traditional lager I've had. I've had their light, and then of course now I'm having their black and tan. And of course, what's also recently just came out is their new IPL, their Indian Pale Lager, which is quite good. So take a whiff of this beer. You can tell a lot of darkness. You could go past as maybe a stout in some ways, but it's not. It may could go as a stout. I think more as a porter beer than anything, but it's a little hints of sweetness, a little sugariness, maybe a little sense of cinnamon, bread sort of feel scent to this. So it's New Year's Eve, by the way, as you know, end of 2015, and we're about to ring in another new year. But quite good. Always like this. I've had this before. First time having this was 2000. Um, at the time, I was living in Virginia, and I believe there was a time I had this for the first time, or I was maybe visiting my folks up home in Jersey for the holidays, and I had this somewhere within early this of the 2000s. So very good beer. Passes stout. Yingling has, as you probably know, some news coming out with Yingling recently. They're trying to reach or get into another state right now. Yingling, I believe, from my last count right now, are in only 19 states. And my numbers could be wrong. If it is wrong, just let me know. But I believe it's in 19 states. But they're trying to reach a more further expand themselves. And now I think recently on their YouTube page, DJ Yingling and Son, uh, they are mentioning about wanting to possibly reach into another city, and they're sort of doing like a guess what city we might be going in. And I think saw one of the lists I saw was Mississippi, Louisiana, um, Texas, um, most of the states here in the South, Arkansas, places, most of the states in the South. I know right now, again, we have it in Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, places like that. They have our beers, but most of them, the other places I haven't, and they're not further out west, which is annoy a lot of people who maybe travel this part of the way and who may have friends or those who transplanted out west to maybe Phoenix or L.A., San Francisco, um, even in Denver or whatever, even parts of the Nebraska, places like that, who maybe who lived in the city who've tried this beer and wanted to before, and then said, it's a shame they can't get it. So, um, kind of how they run their business out there, DJ Young and Sons, but nobody can get it. And I've always been the one, always been the one who thought that with all these mergers and buyouts you've been seeing recently, I thought that maybe Yingling would be the next one, or Sam Adams if there was a nice offer made. But Dick Yingling, the current owner of the company, the CEO, and as well as his daughters right now, who are probably will be the heir apparents of the company, it seems pretty obvious that this is they're saying, yeah, but well, let's take that back. No, we're not going to be for sale. We're going to remain. And we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep going and keep going and keep going until we pass it off to our children and their children. So that's kind of how he wants it done. And I think you got to admire his tenacity and his grit and how they do things. I mean, for a small company and the oldest brewery, and they're still pumping out so much beer, and many rave about their beers, and I do too. I think their beers are excellent. I think they're just as good and can stand up with against some of the others from the big boys, Coors Brewery and Anheuser Busch InBev, SAB Miller. Now SAB Miller and Anheuser Busch InBev now together. So the texture of this porter style, again, I could be wrong on this porter, but being what it is for a stout, but it is quite tasty. 4.7 ABV is not bad. It's not overly strong. And again, um, most styles of this are usually probably more ABV on this, maybe five, maybe the highest, maybe to close to 6 or 7. Um, but you could probably, I could say a 5. I'm going to round it off, but 4.7 is pretty good. For a little more kick to it. Um, you compare this beer with anything food wise, or you can use as an ingredient to cook. Maybe you're doing some beef stew or something, a chili, whatever. This would be good. Beef stew, chili. Not only drinking it, but also you can add this as an ingredient to it to make it a little more hearty, a little more flavorful. That's that kind of taste to it. Very texture, and then I think it's well done, in my opinion. So, what did I do with that bottle? Okay. Yeah, the IPL, but the ones that, but they're here in our area. All we get. My only complaint with Union is that all we get um, is that we only get 3 of their brands. Of course, the Black and Tan, as I mentioned, the light. Well, now 4 brands, I should say. The Black and Tan, the light, the Yuengling traditional lager, and the Yuengling traditional light, the light version of the traditional lager. Now the IPL. We did get the pumpkin patch or the Oktoberfest beer. Obviously, that's for that time of the season in October, but we haven't got. That's probably not going to be coming back anytime soon. We'll see. Um, but that was kind of what they expected and wanted. But so far, those are the 4 we get. Um, when I was home, I did make it. When I was home for Christmas up in New Jersey, um, I saw the Lord Chesterfield Hill, quite a bit of it. I saw the Porter, quite a bit of it, and I didn't get a chance to get it. But the spot I went to, they only had it in singles. I mean, they didn't have it in singles, so it was either get the 6 pack or, oh, well, you're out of luck. But I'm sure the other bars, the other places I know, I'm sure they probably had it in sixers. So, there's a couple of spots would had it in singles, so it would have been cool to get it. But I didn't get a chance to go there. But um, it's just one of the good things about going home and being from that area is that you can try and sample so many styles, so many different things of beer and different varieties or a beer compared to down here. I mean, there's some good craft beers here by some of the local breweries, but from some of the brands that I mentioned, it'd be nice if you got other varieties from other styles that the breweries make from that brewery. And it would be great if I could get the Lord Chesterfield Ale, but I can't get that. Can't get the porter. So, but anyhow, this beer here, I'm going to give this a solid 9.5. I think it's very good. Beer obviously says okay, but it's a good. I think it could pass off. It's not a Guinness. Not a Bob. It's not in the other porters, but I think just for the price. And it's one another thing about Yingling. They've always made sure the prices of their beers are very reasonable for you guys out there, you and me, to get at a good price. And sometimes I'll see the traditional lager probably about maybe $2 less compared to Budweiser. In a 24 pack. Go figure. So, but anyhow, 9.5 score for me on this beer. I think it's really good. Um, Very superb. So, not really going much on this. So, anyhow, tell me your thoughts and your comments on the Yingling Black and Tan beer. I'm John Anderson Pierre, the Beer and TV Ramble, telling you to keep on watching. And as always, cheers. Happy New Year. 2016 is here.